Hi all, welcome to the setup video for CSE 373. The purpose of this video is just to give you a visual of someone else clicking through. Sometimes it can be hard to see how to transition with the screenshots, so hopefully this will help you out. This will be on a Mac computer. If you are using a Windows setup, I believe the screenshots that are embedded into the homework page are all on Windows, so refer to those if things have different names or look confusing. And if you're still having any other questions, please feel free to always visit us at office hours. We would love to help you set it up. So hopefully you've looked through the spec already, but the first thing that we're going to do is go through this setup part. The first part of the setup is installing Git. Because I am using a Mac, I don't actually need to do this. You only need to follow that step if you're using Windows. Next, we're going to generate an SSH key. So I'm going to copy this command that I just found on that link, paste it in, and use my email. Once I do that, I'm going to save it in a different location because I already had an SSH key set up on my computer. If you don't previously have an SSH key set up, you can just click enter without typing anything and it'll save in the default location. It'll generate an SSH key, and then we are going to put what it just generated into GitLab. So I'm going to copy this command. Again, I need to change it because I saved it in a different location. If you saved it in the default location, you don't need to change anything about this command. And if we paste, we'll see that it copied the whole SSH key. So now I can go to my GitLab, covered up some of the student repos, and look up SSH keys and click that. Once we're here, I'll paste in what I had and title it something like GitLab example. Then I'll add the key. It'll show me this. Once I'm done with that, it's a good idea to test it, but I'm just going to move on. So next we're going to install Java. I already have it installed on my computer, but if you needed it, go to this page, click Accept License Agreement, and then choose whichever download pertains to your operating system. Next, we're going to download IntelliJ. So you can choose Community or Ultimate. Community is the free version, Ultimate is the paid version, but as a student you can get a license. I have a student as a license, so I'm going to download Ultimate. I did delete and reinstall IntelliJ for this video, but at some points IntelliJ was a little too smart for me. It realized that it had been pre-installed, so it skipped some steps. But follow those steps on the homework page and you should be fine. So first let's install CheckStyle. So we'll click Plugins and type in CheckStyle-IDEA. Once you're here, click Install. Wait for it to download, and then restart. Next, we're going to make sure we're actually using the right JDK. If we're not using Java 8, we might run into issues later, so we want to make sure that that is the JDK we have installed. So let's click Structure for New Projects. And select 1.8 on this dropdown. If you don't have it as an option, make sure that you installed Java correctly in the step that I skipped over earlier. Once we check this out, we can press Apply and OK. Next, we'll go to Configure and Preferences. and click version control. So we're going to be using Git specifically. On a Mac, this should be already done for you. If you're using Windows, you definitely are going to want to test this. So go ahead and hit test, and it should say executed successfully. Next, we'll go ahead and make sure that our check style configuration is set up right. So we'll go to Configure, Preferences, and down to Check Style. If you don't have this shown up, make sure you downloaded the plugin like you were supposed to. So for check style, we want to make sure that we're scanning both our Java sources and the tests. So we'll pick the second dropdown, including tests. And now we need to get the right configuration file. So give it a useful name, like I chose CSE 373 style, and then choose which way you want to upload the tests. I chose the HTTP way. I thought it was easy. And then scroll down to this section in the homework web page, and you can just right click and choose copy link address. Once you've done that, paste in that URL and hit next. Make sure you click the checkbox to make this an active configuration, press apply, and OK. Once we've done that, go to your editor, and we're going to choose Inspections. You're going to want to scroll down to Java, and into Java Language Level Migration Aids. Choose Java 5. And check the box next to Raw Use of a Parameterized Class. Once you check that box, you can go ahead and set the severity to error. This will make sure that your code won't run if you have this kind of problem in your code. Again, click apply and OK. Now we're ready to actually import our repo. So choose checkout from version control and Git. Go to the web page for your username, homework1, and click clone with SSH. If that isn't working, HTTPS is fine too. Click test to make sure it's actually working. If this doesn't work, make sure that your SSH keys are set up correctly. We do want to check out from version control, yes, and we want to make sure that use auto import and use Gradle wrapper task configuration are checked. Those aren't the defaults, so make sure that those are clicked. Once you're here, these loading things are the Gradle project loading. Now let's look at where our files are. So everything is organized in this source folder. We're going to look at source main Java misc sanity and then open the sanity check file. We can run this to make sure that everything is set up correctly, just as a sanity check. If you get this output, everything's good. We can also manually run check style. If we click this tab at the bottom and click the green arrow, we can see that we have an unused import, a not allowed type, and many other errors. We can also run tests like this. So if we click test Java data structures and, for example, test int tree problems, we can click the double arrows to run all of the JUnit tests in this file. There's a lot more information about JUnit tests and what they are on the web page, so go ahead and read that. Once we click those, it'll take a while to run, but it'll run every test in this file at once. I have failed all of them because I have not done this assignment, so I'm getting a not yet implemented exception. But once you've implemented, you will either pass these or fail these for more interesting reasons. You can click on an individual test to see its output as well. Once you're ready to start writing your code, you can go to Source Main Java Problems and open up any of these three. I'm going to start in int tree problems and start writing in depth sum. So I'm just writing in a hello world println. And because this method does return an int, I'm going to return 0. Once I've done that, I should be able to save this. All of the specifications of what your method should actually do are on the web page, so make sure you check those. When I'm ready to commit, which is similar to saving your work on your local computer, I can click the green check, write a commit message that describes the changes that I've made. For me, I just added a hello world, so I'll write that. And then I'll click commit. I have errors, but they're in the sanity check. I already know that. If I'm sure that I'm ready to push my code, which is similar to like uploading it to Canvas, you can do it as many times as you want, but it is a more permanent thing. I can choose VCS and push. And now, when I go to the GitLab website, I can go to my homework 1 repo and see that the most recent commit was my push that I just made. Hope this helps. Come to office hours if you have any questions. Bye.